I'm Phil.
And thank you for joining us on this Saturday night for our live mudlarking, loosely related mudlarking show. It's great to have you here on a Saturday night, and what a wonderful way to spend it with friends. And I can see the chat's been going on. So before I say who's first in, you may notice the surroundings are rather different.
Yes, and we have to be kind of calmer than usual.
Yes.
So I won't be singing tonight. That's good news for everyone, especially Max, who's asleep upstairs.
Yes, we're in Hastings, so we're doing this from our son's house instead of our house.
Yes.
And hopefully you can hear us and everything is going well.
Well, nobody said, I can't hear you yet, have they?
Nobody said anything yet.
No.
Oh, Stephen Webb, thank you. A £1 super chat. That's really kind of you, Stephen.
Thank you, mate. That's brilliant.
Thank you very much. We really do appreciate that. Thank you.
Excuse me being a little distracted. I'm just trying to tune in.
Phil's running late again, as usual.
But that's brilliant, Stephen. Thank you very much.
So let's have a look who were the first three in. And the first one, Little Owl Bags. Well done. Second in, Adam Gates, Mudlarking Anchor. Hello, Adam. You second place. You're going to have to sharpen your wits a little if you're going to be first. And third place was Mary's Place, Simply Mary. Hello. So well done, you three, for getting in. And Jen Wilder was close on the heels at fourth. So I can't see how many people we got in at the moment, but there is a lot of chat going on, and it's lovely to see you all. I've had a peek in the chat as I've been getting ready. Tonight we've got lots of things to show you. Lots of sea glass. If you saw our video on I'm forgetting what day it is. Last night, then you'll have seen the amount of glass we picked up when we were at Lyme Regis. There was just tons of it there. And usually not as much. Oh, I got to stop. There we go. Gill is interrupting me this week. Oh, Gill, thank you. A £10 super chat. Whispering, quietly creeping in to interrupt Phil at an appropriate point. Oh, thank you, Gill. That's really kind of you. We do appreciate it. And you interrupted me.
I've thrown them all. See, I'm being so quiet.
You are.
They've thrown them all. Google's trying to protect my account a moment.
Oh, are they?
Yes.
You can put not now or confirm. Yes. Always. Do you find when you go to do something really important, you turn on your computer and it says, we need to update now, and starts updating like, no, stop. I had one of those come up last night, but fortunately I managed to do what I was doing before it decided to update. Right, so are you with us?
I am. Now we've got two voices, hang on.
You need to turn your sound off.
I've mended it.
As usual, Phil is his ever-organised self.
Of course I am. I'm sorted now. Job done.
So we've got some questions coming up tonight. We've got some finds coming up. Monkey, sure. He's got his seatbelt on.
Yes, because he's high up on the table.
Yes. so he doesn't fall out of Phil's pocket or bag again.
Which he has done on a few occasions.
Yes.
Most recently, in the last video.
Right, so let's get on with things. We're a little bit flustered because everything isn't where it always is. So you'll have to tolerate us being a little bit slower than usual. And let's start off with some finds. So you got a find.
I have indeed. And our first question is related to this find.
Oh, so we'll have this find and then we'll have our first question.
So there we are, folks. Get ready for your first question. And I can tell you that the first question is related to a question we had about a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
So there we are. This is our first find. Our heart-shaped stone. And we find quite a few of these, don't we?
Oh, I've got to stop you. I've got to interrupt you. Rubberbandshee, thank you so much. Just put my glass on to double check. It's a $10 super chat. Thank you so much. That's really kind of you. And well done, you interrupted Phil. Oh, thank you so much. We do appreciate that. It's really kind of you.
You feel free. You interrupt me anytime you want. Getting back to the hearts. As you'll know, I haven't got it here today because we're away from home, but I made Caroline a little keepsake out of plastic Eiffel Tower that we found on the dump and a heartstone that she found. And this is the heartstone which you found again, wasn't it?
It was, yes.
You seem to be the one that finds the heartstones.
I'm tuned in, you see. It's the romantic in me.
That's what it is. Gosh. There we go. What can one say? But there we are. They're quite a nice one, I think. I think it was it Laura? I was answering comments earlier this evening, and I think it was Laura. That's Tinkering Tim's mum of Tinkering Twins or something. I can't remember, but I think it was Laura said that other than the colour, it looked like a piece of shortbread.
Yes.
But I wouldn't advise you eat it.
No, it's not good for the teeth.
in the same comment, Laura commented on, talking of colour, she said she was amazed and impressed with the colour of the seaweed, which we noted because we mentioned in this film that we made about the quantity of seaweed, because good grief, it was 4 foot thick and there was just piles of it. There was tons of stuff, and that's not what it's normally like there. But we'd had some real big storms, and it had obviously dragged the seaweed up and dragged it up from quite low in the sea, because there was such a rich variety. And I'm so glad that Caroline did that piece to music, showing the variety of colour and the variety of species of seaweed that was there. It was really beautiful. But as I say, there's our heartstone, and I have look out.
Oh, Tom.
Look, Tom.
Well, you interrupted
don't you start
Phil again.
interrupting me as well.
You get extra brownie points for interrupting Phil. Oh, thank you so much, Tom. Got a £10 super chat from Tom. Thank you ever so much. It's really kind of you.
I'm going to have a word with you next time I see you, Mr. Burleigh. There we go.
Just to let everybody know, this seems to be a $10 super chat. I've got it. I could see one at the top of my page, but it hadn't come up. I was thinking, hang on a minute.
There it is. It just it's above Tom's, actually.
Above Tom's, yes. Lark Davis, a $10 super chat. Thank you ever so much, Lark. That's really kind of you. And I was just about to read your comment, and now I've looked for that. I've lost your comment. So
is that where you commented? Was that the comment on the... Because you read one earlier to me.
No, it's another one now saying that you've got the... Lark brought our little shard that we found with the word Lark on, a piece of glass bottle, and she's saying it's all sanded and looking lovely. So
yes.
I can't find where it is, so that's not a direct quote. That's me trying to remember what she said. But thank you ever so much, Lark. That's really kind of you, and I'm glad you like your shard.
And I'm glad he got there.
I got it. I sent you a pic of the Lark shard. It's absolutely wonderful. And I did see earlier on you said you'd sanded it and it was looking good.
So we'll have to have a look at the pic after.
Right, so thank you ever so much. Sorry that was a bit delayed, but it didn't come up on my screen.
I'm pleased it's arrived. I'm always pleased when parcels arrive, wherever they go in, particularly if they go in across the ocean. So it's wonderful that arrived. Excellent.
Now, anyway, there's something going on. There's something else going on, because we got another £1 super chat from Stephen Webb.
That Stephen gave us that one.
That one's up the top. My screen is going bonkers. So thank you, Stephen. I think there's another £1 super chat off you. I can't quite tell. It's up here twice. So thank you. If that's a second £1 super chat, that's really kind of you.
And if it's not,
thank
you twice anyway.
And if anybody's given a super chat and it's not coming up, I'm really sorry. It should be. It's just for some reason it's gone bonkers tonight. I'll keep an eye out.
Excuse me, could I interrupt you a moment and ask if you could have the question?
Go on, man.
Thing is, I may not be able to get excitable, I may not be able to sing, but I can do sarcastic.
You do it very well.
Very calmly, you see, very calmly. Okay then, folks, let's go with the first question. Let's see how you're going tonight. The first known depiction of a heart shape as the symbol of love was in the 13th century. Now, you all know that, because that was a question I asked you about a year or so ago. But I want to now ask you, it was depicted in a 13th century manuscript, which was written in which language? A, Latin, B, Greek, or C, French? So in which language was the manuscript written that depicted the first symbol of love in the shape of a heart in the 13th century?
Now the two answers that tempt me there.
What are you thinking, folks?
Right, so
Do you think it's A, Latin, B, Greek, or C, French?
Oh, we've got 1, 2. I've got 2 right answers in, and then if you look at that there.
Yes.
You got that one?
I got that.
So I'll go down and see if there's another one. Oh yes, a couple of right answers have come in now. So, well done, we do have some right answers. Oh, Jerry Annie's lagging. That's going to be a right pain, because you're not going to be able to get the answers in right in time. Sorry about that. That's the only problem.
We don't tend to have a problem on the live.
No,
unless it's local.
Not buffering. There's lagging and there's buffering.
Yeah.
Or buffering.
Yeah.
yesterday on our show was brilliant. Our
43
premiere.
minutes before we had the first buffer.
Which is wonderful, and then it buffered.
The week before we only had a 38-minute video and it buffered about 10 minutes.
Oh, it was. We've really been having trouble, but YouTube said it was their fault and they were trying to deal with it. They've obviously dealt with something, so it's getting better.
Can I say thank you to everyone who offered suggestions? We've checked out all the suggestions on the frame rates and everything else, but everything we're doing does comply with the things that are being suggested, and they could cause problems, but then it's looking like we just got to be hopeful. But fortunately, after the premiere, the video runs brilliantly, and seeing as most people get so absorbed in the chat, they have to watch it anyway afterwards.
It's difficult, isn't it, to chat, join in and watch the video, so I end up, if ever I'm joining in chat, I always watch the video as well later. You miss so much otherwise.
Right then, I can give you the answer.
Here we go, excited.
Because quite a lot of answers in, and in the early stages, not many correct answers. Like it looks in the beginning that Greek was coming over as the favoured language.
Which you thought probably the answer.
But they do say that Paris is the city of love, and the answer is French. It was a French manuscript in the 13th century that had the symbol of a young man holding what appeared to be a heart as a symbol of love. So, being the correct answer as C, top of the tree, Lynn Bean.
Well done, Lynn.
Next on the pile, Jenny Thomas.
Well done, Jenny.
And then I've got to wind down a little bit to find the next correct answer. And it is Christina Mitazaki.
Well
Christina
done.
Mitazaki. So we've got Lynn, Jenny, and Christina.
Christina. Excellent.
So, 3 ladies at the top of the pile this time. There we go. The ladies are setting the pace. They're showing the way. Just goes to show. You find all the heartstones. The ladies get the right answers.
We're very talented.
We've got a romantic bunch of women in the group. So there we are, folks. Well done, all those where to go.
On a side note from there, when I was doing, I was lousy at French in school, so I went and I relearned as an adult. And I had a teacher there, and I said to him, we always think of French as being a very romantic language, and even if you're saying something that isn't romantic, it sounds romantic. What does it sound like to you as a French person, because he was French, when we speak English? And he said, especially for the Welsh, he said, to us you sound like you're singing, because you do. And I thought that was interesting. I'd never thought of it before. But as Welsh, we are all over the shop when we're talking. So there we go. They think that the Welsh are singing.
You were asking how many you're in. We have 100 in.
Oh, lovely. Thank you ever so much for joining
100,
us.
And we've got 47 thumbs up. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. The thumbs up is like a like. For anybody who doesn't know, at the bottom of the screen, as long as you're not in full screen, underneath on the, for you, it will be your right hand side, there is a little thumbs up and a little thumbs down. So if you click the thumbs up, then you give us a like or a thumbs up. And
or if you click the thumbs down, you say, we don't like it, as somebody has, but we suspect that's Tom.
If you click the thumbs down twice, then it gives us a dislike, and then it takes it off again. So if you'd like to give us 2 thumbs down,
if you really don't like us, click it twice.
Yes, that's right. It takes them all
or
off.
4 times. As long as it's multiples of 2, it disappears. There we go. And obviously mentioning where the button is out, because now we've got 60 thumbs up.
So I was going to say 60 thumbs down then.
No, just 2 now. 2 now. Somebody else has joined Tom.
Oh, there are. Mary's place, Simply Mary, said, it's true, Welsh sounds like music to me in the USA. And Jan likes the Welsh accent. So thank you.
There we go.
I don't think it's everybody's taste, but it's quite popular.
Taste is taste. We all like different things. Some like bitter, some like sweet. And to that end, some didn't like my desk tidy and some did.
Yes. It wasn't the most stylish desk tidy in the world.
No, but it did the job.
It did.
And it used up 2 pieces of brick without any glue. So there we go.
No Gorilla Glue. What is the world coming to?
So for all those who didn't like it, I'm going to show it you again, just to wind you up. No, in fairness, there was one tongue-in-cheek comment just saying, I got to be honest, I didn't like the desk tidy. I think they were frightened I had to give it to him as a present. There we go. There it is, folks. It's travelled all the way to Hastings with me. because I just can't bear to be parted from it. And for anyone who's missed the previous videos, there we are. I'll move it in and you can just see the pipes that are on display there. There's our footballing pipe, and there's the RAOB pipe that we found on another occasion. And this one's just got some reeding around it, but quite pretty. And then these two are plain pipes, but that's one of the, what I said now, that's one of the earliest pipes we found. What I meant by that was that's one of the first pipes we found, as opposed to earliest in date. But it's quite unusual because it's quite thick. It's quite thickly made, isn't it, that one? That was one of the earlier ones.
Lexi said, desk tidy, more like chocolate finger storage. It is perfect, isn't it, Lexi, for storing chocolate fingers?
And it's proportional at the end of the day. The plinth is made to suit the bricks.
Can you hear that? There's fireworks. They've been going for about half an hour now.
Yes, and we're worrying that they're going to wake Max up. Because
yes. It's getting closer. There must be a few firework displays going on tonight because it's been a long time now.
And of course he went to sleep tonight with Grandpa. So the chances are, if he does wake up, instead of calling Daddy, he's going to call Grandpa.
Yes.
So if I suddenly disappear, you know, I've had to go and settle him down, but he might settle for Daddy.
Manky sure, so Manky can be Phil standing.
Yes. Rightio.
Yes, Mary says you did.
There's like a rumbling going on there. But of course, we're near the coast, so things are happening up here, especially now this time in the season. They do things in the evening, so there's probably some big show down there or something, some carnival today.
Flower Girl in Ward 17 said fireworks, isn't it too soon for Guy folks? It is early, yes, but sometimes people have fireworks going off for a wedding or a birthday, something like that. I think they're supposed to get a licence if it's not within a certain couple of days of bonfire night.
I think it's a time. I think you can't let them off after 11 o'clock.
Right, I know there are some rules.
The only day you can let them off after 11 o'clock is November the 5th and New Year's Eve. Other than that, they've got to be let off before 11 o'clock. Because, and that's how I understand it. They may change this since I read it all up. But there we go. Oh, what's that? Right. They had donuts from a fun fair tonight. Oh, showing off.
Always nice donuts from a fun fair.
Showing off now to make us hungry. We had some... Oh, my son went out shopping early this morning. And he raided Lidl's first thing. I bought the croissants and everything, so boy, we've ate well today because there was more than enough for breakfast. So I just had a Danish before we came on here, and I might have one before we go to bed. My favourite.
Your favourite?
I don't know what about everybody else. My favourite Danish or pastry, it's one we always eat in France, and that's the pain au raisin. Pain au raisin. That's what I like. That's right, like the whirly one with custard in and nice raisins all nice and
pain au chocolat for me. Chocolate.
Yes, you were on those
anything
earlier.
With chocolate in. Right, I'll show you what I got. And it's this bit of slate. Now, in Wales, I mean, different places, different countries have different things on their roofs. But in Wales, we have a lot of Welsh slate roofs. Now, they start off for about 1 foot by 18 inches. And then they get, if they're taken off, they get tossed in the river and broken and smashed, and this is all that is left of one. It could have been a smaller one because on sometimes the coal shed, which is where you kept your coal, or the tea bark, which was little house, which is the toilet at the end of the garden, they had smaller slates.
That could
have come off a tea bark or a coal house.
But it could well be Welsh slate because it went all over the country, but it actually, I picked it up on the beach while waiting for the ferry.
Well, yes, it's not.
Yes, so you're probably Welsh slate though, because Welsh slate has gone around the world. But it wasn't in a Welsh river. It was actually. Remember, we were waiting for the ferry because Blooming Ferry. They advertised on the website 8 o'clock sailing, and when we got there, it was 10 o'clock sailing.
And Rubberbandshee said it's like a war zone here around Independence Day. I thought you were saying this is Independence Day. I was thinking then, right? It's Hastings Bonfire Society, AC/DC tribute and bonfire. Oh, thank you. Right, now we know. There we go. So we may have some AC/DC music playing in the background too.
Yeah,
anyway,
that should wake him up.
Back to my bit of slate. So this is a weird piece of slate, and I thought, well, we'll bring it anyway. But what I'm going to use it for...
Is as a mermaid's nail file, according to Lexi.
It could be, yes. I'm going to use it as a bone folder. Now, a bone folder sounds like an instrument of torture, and it's not. It's something that people use in papercraft, and if you pass me your questions just to show you what you use a bone folder for. I won't be able to show it exactly because I can't show you the desk. But don't spoil my...
Do you want to see the questions?
spoiling my example, cool.
Right,
so if you fold something like that, you can see it's got like a rounded, well, you possibly can see it's got like a rounded fold. If you get your bone folder, which was originally made of bone and for making folds, and run it, I'll put this down on the table, use your imagination here, and I just run it along the fold.
Listen to the sound effects.
Can you hear that? Well, now, you probably can't tell, but that is so much, it's a very thin fold.
Forms a crease.
Very crisp fold, so that if you're making, like, if I'll fold it again, and you can see there, I think, more just how rounded it is. Well, if I run it.
Oh, it's like science. It's
I
like,
tell you.
it's
Run
like,
it over with my bone folder.
it's like watching one of them how programs, isn't it? How. Remember that when we were kids? How to do this?
Can you see? I don't know if you can see this
how
difference.
do you turn a fold into a crease?
So if you're going to try and fold things and you want them to stay thinner, your bone folder makes the piece of paper thinner and also it's neater. So I'm going to use this, an emergency reserve bone folder, because mine at the moment is covered in blue paint. It's a bit of a disaster on my last art video.
It was.
And my carpet, I've got a big blue blotch on my carpet. There was blue paint everywhere.
If Caroline had taken, yes, Stephen McCray, if Caroline had taken all the bloopers out of the last video, it would have been very short. So she left them all in.
Yes, I had
including the paint on the carpet.
Yep, epic fail.
Yeah, I know exactly what colour paint she was using. It was all over the carpet when I went in. Right then, shall I do another find?
Go and do another find.
Shall I do another find that's linked to a question? Are we doing time? Yes, 20 past. Shall I go for another find linked to a question?
Oh, sorry. Yes, so I don't need a question.
No, not yet, not yet. I'll do
well,
another
there that.
Right then, the first one was a heartstone, and this, everybody's shouting out there now, it's a hagstone. There it is. Now, it's interesting because I was saying,
Were you?
yes, I said on this video, the one previous, about how very often the stones we find are not smooth when they're the ones with a hole through. Yet I was reading an article saying that generally hagstones are smooth. They're a smooth pebble with a hole through it. And that one has the hole, and you can see right through there. There we go. And we found this down on Lyme Regis.
We did.
On Lyme Regis I found this. And it's got a lovely smooth tactile feel to it, and quite a nice little thing. And of course you can pick them up all over the country, all over the world. I think it's probably where the stone is made up of two materials, and the one material is obviously much weaker, and it erodes out and then creates the hole.
Oh, Jenny Thomas has got a hagstone in the shape of a heart found on Ogmore Beach.
Oh.
I've never seen one in the shape of a heart. Well done, Jenny.
That's showing off, that is.
It is, isn't it?
That's
Well
combining both my heartstone and my hagstone into one.
No, see, we thought you were good, but
I tell
some
you.
of our viewers are even better.
So, shall we have the logo for the question?
Shall we? Why not?
Right
There we
then.
go.
Hagstones are also known by other names around the world and around the UK. There's different terms for them. Over on the east coast, different terms in Scotland, different terms down south. Right, all I want to know is what other name is used for hagstones down in Cornwall? Is it A, millpreve? Is it B, adderstones? Or is it C, druid glass? Are they known in Cornwall
I
as
guessed right.
A, millpreve, B, adderstones, or C, druid glass? What are we thinking, folks?
Right. Oh, hello, newbie.
Answers are flying in.
Yep. Can you see who's first here?
Yes, that's who I've got.
There we go. Right. Ooh.
I've managed
lots
to
of
catch a
answers
few
coming
out.
in.
I've managed to catch a few out.
Yep. Oh, Pleasant Valley Picker saying, not like when I was a kid talking about fireworks. I'm assuming we buy a big bag full and set them off in the backyard. I can remember I was either 5 or 6, and my mother sent me across the road with I think she gave me a shilling and said, go and buy yourself some fireworks. And so I went across and I picked all the pretty ones, and I had a paper bag full, and I brought them home. And the next year I went over and they said, oh, sorry, we can't sell you fireworks. So I went back, told my mother, she said, oh, I'll give you a note. So she wrote me a note, and I went back over to the shop, and they said, no, even with a note, we can't sell you fireworks, it's now against the law. So when you think I was 5, And I just bought fireworks now.
As kids, we used to buy bangers and everything. We used to be lighting
used to
them
throw
and
them at
chucking them
people.
around. Didn't throw them at people, just...
Some people did though. It was
Yes,
quite
but we
scary
didn't.
sometimes for us as kids.
No, we used to light them and set them off, stick them in a hole in the wall and light them.
Do you remember those Catherine wheels? You still get them now. You knock a nail into
in.
the piece of wood and they put it on, you
Light
light it, and then if the nail wasn't in well enough, it would go flying off.
Yeah,
We'd all be
chasing around the
running.
garden.
And jumping jacks.
It
Do you remember those? You light them and they jump around the place.
Yeah,
And
they were like
really,
a concertina thing, weren't
they were really dangerous. They don't do those anymore.
they? No.
I suppose they're a bit like possibly the Chinese firecrackers.
Yeah, I would say so. Because nowadays it's more the larger fireworks, because they're trying, obviously they're not selling to the individual sort of to play with like us, like we children.
Yeah.
Because when we were courting, we took a load of fireworks on bonfire night and we set them all off up on the mountain.
Yes, we did.
We did, with our own private firework display.
Oh, I tell you, we were posh.
I tell you, that's what comes of working in the pits. I had money. Right then, let's get this answer sorted. Which one were we on? Hagstones, is it? Yes, hagstones. Right then. Now then, it is a variety of answers, and I think I've managed to catch a few people out, but there's quite a lot of right answers as well. The reason I've caught you out is the names I've used are linked to hagstones, but not in Cornwall.
So you may have heard of them.
Yes. Now, adderstones, that's quite a common name for them. Adderstones or snake stones, that's quite a common name around the country. Druid glass, that's an interpretation of the Gaelic that is used in Scotland for a hagstone. It's a Gaelic term, and the reason I'm not saying the Gaelic term is because I can't, because I don't speak Gaelic. So I took the English translation, which is Druid glass, but it was Milpreve is actually the name, the word that they use. And first answer in was correct, as was the second answer in. And Adam will be thrilled to know that he pipped the West Country Mudlarks by a whisker.
Well done, Adam.
So Adam is top, West Country Mudlarks are second, and then we've got to come down to the Kentish Mudlarks for the next correct answer.
Well done, Kentish Mudlarks.
So there we go. All three top ones this time. All have channels. And all worth a watch. So if you haven't watched Adam, West Country Mudlarks, or the Kentish Mudlarks, give them a view. And that's the order in which they've come in. And they've got A, and A. But as I say, the B's and the C's, the reason is I was being a bit cunning. I do like to be a bit cunning. Do you got any finds over there, dear?
First of all, I was like Tinkling Twins, as our Laura said, it's amazing we all live to be adults. I know, when you think of the way it used to be. And Jan said, a big box of standard fireworks. Dad set them off in the back garden, bonfire, toffee and park. And I remember the advertisement, light up the sky with standard fireworks. Yeah, we used to so look forward to bonfire night. Thing is, you'd see, like, they used to show London, and they'd show all the fireworks going off there and think, oh, wow, it looks absolutely fabulous. And you'd remember that, and the next year you'd be there with your little box of standard fireworks, and you had green smoke, which was very descriptive because you lit it and it just made green smoke. Then you had red smoke, and guess what the red smoke firework did?
Red smoke?
Correct.
Again, to get the hang of this.
All excited, it's just like this little lump like this, throwing out all this coloured smoke, so it was never quite as exciting as the anticipation was lead into.
It was never that exciting for me because I don't like loud noises, I don't like bangs. I don't like the suspense of waiting for the sound. So somebody light a firework, waiting for it to go off and go bang, I couldn't handle it. One of the things that used to freak me out as a kid was balloons. People blowing up balloons because I was scared they were going to burst, and people threatening to put a pin in a balloon and things. They used to freak me out, which is really weird because then I ended up working for 11 years of my life underground where they were blasting the blinking head-ins with dynamite. And that freaked me out. I used to be there with my hands over my ears, because this waiting for him to shout fire. It was that suspense. I think more than the noise, it was that anxiety of waiting.
So if ever we needed balloons, I had to blow them up.
Yes, indeed.
Pleasant Valley Picker said, here in Canada, we had a firework called the Burning Schoolhouse. As a kid, I loved that title. Well, it's different. I don't think we ever had that one.
I'm not on my own anyway.
Oh, right.
Jill's daughter don't like popping balloons.
Right.
And Catherine's saying not a big fan of fireworks. I love the display. I love watching like Sydney Harbour Bridge. I love watching it all on New Year's Eve on the telly and seeing the...
But they're not individual bangs, it's just a whole...
But when you know that thing's
noise.
going up and it's going to make a noise, it's that moment. As I say, it's strange, it's hard to explain. It's not the noise, it's waiting for that noise, and when it comes, it just sort of freaks you. So
well, Tom said I went for the Lewis, is it? Lewes, is that Lewis? Bonfire night once, it was awesome. We get a good one down at Caerphilly Castle normally, and it's great because all these big explosions are going off from within the castle, and it looks like it's one of these old battles, and very nice to watch.
When the last crescendo of fireworks have gone off and the music is playing, there's no more fireworks, but because of the spotlights on the building, the smoke is just drifting across, and then it looks like something from the sort of Civil War or something, doesn't it? And the other thing that you notice down at Caerphilly is there's a huge moat around it, and when the first firework goes off, all the ducks fly straight out over the people. You get all these ducks, they're just settling down to go to bed, and some clown sets off this explosion and they all come flying up over the top of the trees and up behind us.
Now, Gill Taber saying my nan used to turn all the mirrors to the wall when there was lightning. Yes, I remember my gran used to do that as well. I'm not sure why. It's I don't know.
They used to turn the telly off.
I think you needed to, because if it struck your area,
they reckon it struck the area, they'd come down and they'd blow the telly up. So I used to not like that. Turn the telly off. I think it's my mum's way of making me go to bed.
Yeah, probably. I never minded thunder and lightning. My mother was always really scared, and she'd hide in the room with the curtains closed, but I'd go up in the window and watch it. I loved it.
I absolutely agree with Rubberbandshee when it says poor ducks, but I always look on the side of it, at least it was a false alarm, because a lot of the poor ducks, they get hunted. And when they hear the bang, that's where they all make a move. But yes, it's I often think, well, it's rather disturbing for them, as it is for a lot of pets. But we had a dull dog. We had our dog just before.
We had our dog on the 4th of November, and on the 5th of November, she was this tiny little puppy. She was a Cavalier King Charles Spaniel. She was about this big. And I took her out.
Size of Manky.
Yes. I took her out to the garden to go to the toilet, and as she started to do her business, this big, huge firework exploded above us. I thought, oh, here we go. And she didn't even budge. It completely ignored it, didn't bother her. And she was never frightened of noises, which was really good, because some pets get so distressed. It's sad, isn't it? Who's on you? Somebody, Rubberbandshee said, my Jack Russell just adored popping balloons. He did 100 in less than 2 minutes, so you wouldn't want that dog around. No, not the dog for you.
I think Ellen has touched on a point as well, which is true to virtually every child on the planet. As she said, as soon as Mum would say, don't stand near the windows, there's lightning, the one thing you really wanted to do was go stand near the window. They reckon that, you know, the one way to make sure somebody touches the wet paint is put up a sign saying, do not touch wet paint. And somebody will think, it doesn't look wet to me. Yeah, and that is a universal thing. I think that is true the whole world round. Children feel a magnetic draw to doing the things they told. In fact, I don't think it's just children. I think grown-ups are just as bad.
Yeah.
It's just we've learned the law of consequence.
Yes.
So we know, oh, I really want to have a go, but perhaps I won't because it just might get me in trouble.
Phyllis said, and move away from the phone, which would wire to the wall. Oh, no, we never had phones that were wired to the wall when I was younger. Well, not many of us had phones because we were so much behind the US, so we didn't have any of these like mod cons. So that wasn't the case when I was little. And Sarah said it can still strike even if you turn the TV off.
Yeah, and of course it is dangerous stuff because we still hear quite regularly in the news of fatalities.
Yes.
There was a young teenager quite recently killed by a lightning strike.
So you've got to be careful. It's nasty stuff. But I think if you're in the house, well, I feel safe. Maybe you're not, but I feel safe in the house.
It tends to be folks that are out and on open areas. If you're out camping or something, it can be a bit dodgy. And high up. Don't go climbing church towers to have a better view.
Best not to. Well, I'm going to show you what I love finding, and you know what I love finding. Number 1, gold doubloons, which hasn't happened yet, but will one day. And 2, pipe stems. I'm a long way from the camera here, but you can see that one.
The ones with a number on it.
That's it. Oh, right.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure he has. I must apologise. The fines have not been washed. They're very
grubby.
I've taken them out and sort of cleaned them off as best I can. But because we were travelling and bringing them up, I just brought the bag of fines with me, because I don't have access to my garage and my...
Oh, I think something.
Is it 469 or something? I don't know.
I don't know.
There's 3 numbers in it. It's probably, what do they call it? Model number for the
I got my old glasses on, so I can't see much.
It's quite a chunky piece, that.
I think it's just number 10, isn't it?
Could be. Could be. Put it up to the camera and see if it comes out any better.
Oh, I don't think I can even reach the camera from here, and I'm sitting down, so...
Yeah, I don't know.
We usually stand up. Well, I usually stand up.
Yes, you guys do.
It's more cosy sitting down like this.
I think you could be right.
I feel a bit restricted. I can't move.
It's not going to come in.
Try lowering it. No. There you go.
But you can see there's letters.
You can see there's something on it. Little Outbag said, I thought they were Cadbury's fingers for a moment. Yes, and a bit short because Phil's already started nibbling them.
Not sure what the letters are. Well, it looks like CD there, which is your initials, dear.
Ooh, yes.
Perhaps it's your pipe.
With a J on the end.
You're wondering where you lost it.
So I don't think these are the same, because this one's quite rough and this one is quite smooth. Now, so even if it's just down to the fact that this one's been worn in the water, they obviously went in at different times. Because I did think at one point, well, maybe it was sort of that, but I don't think so.
I wonder if that's anything to do with location. I wonder if the white clay tends to be up north and sort of middle, and just because you happen to find 2 pieces down on the south coast.
Yeah, they're both very much... They're
dark,
not white. Definitely not.
Just wondered, because obviously a different type of clay. That's the bigger one is definitely terracotta. It's quite a chunky pipe.
It is.
On the subject of pipes.
On the subject of pipes, yes.
On the subject of pipes.
Oh, that was cruel. This stone.
Was cruel. Yeah, this is a stone, folks. But honestly, when I was on the beach, I really thought that was a pipe. Just
very convincing.
The neck of a pipe bowl and the beginnings of the bowl. So when you turned it around, you realised and held it, you realised that it's that almost porous type stone, possibly petrified bone.
Yeah, I think again, when you got the little holes in like that, it's quite likely to be bone.
Could well be. And on the subject of bone...
Well, not a subject tonight. Yeah,
I'm
pretty sure that's a bone.
Now, this one here...
Somebody was saying it could be a vertebrae.
Yeah, quite rounded.
Or I thought perhaps, is it the femur? Is the big bone in something's leg?
And when you look inside it... See, there it looks like as if you could have had vessels running through it, and then that aerated effect. That seems to be some kind of fossilised... as I say, vertebrae or something, you know, but definitely a chunk of bone, I would have thought, of some type that is fossilised there on the beach. So there we are. I just thought I'd mention those. See how I tied that into your pipe, dear?
I'm not quite sure. Ellen says, can I get an address for Panda Gifts? I'm not quite sure what you mean there. We do have in the description below, if you're talking about the Manky Panda t-shirts, there's a link in the description below, but I'm not sure that's what you're on about. So if that's not what you mean, let me know what you mean, because I'm a little bit confused. It's a bit late in the night for me.
And feel free to email us on mudlarking@aol.com if you've got any queries or questions about anything. Because we pick those up quicker than we pick up comments in the norm, because sometimes I'm doing quite well at the moment, but sometimes I get a week or so behind.
Right, Linda said, my screen shows only 7.5 thumbs up out of 117 viewers.
We got 81 thumbs up.
According to Phil's screen is 81 and 120 views. This happens to us sometimes. We think, oh dear, it's not doing very well.
My mum
you need to refresh your page sometimes, so that may work.
My mum does say it's different numbers on my screen to you, and sometimes it happens to me.
Right, Rowena's saying on her
78.
phone is 26 thumbs up, but on Tom's computer is 82.
Yeah, 83.
B. Hammock said 78.
Yeah.
Jill says 79. Ooh,
it
it's all over the shop, isn't it?
It varies all over the place. Well, according to mine, right, 122 watching, 86 thumbs up, and this stream started 12 minutes ago. And we've been going for 40 minutes.
Obviously, YouTube's having a moment.
So as I say, that's the strange thing. The information is all jumbled up, but 124 watching now.
Linda said, I'm in the US, so it takes a while to register across the ocean.
Yes.
Now, Tinkering Twins and the Mom says 112. Have we got
112 people.
Oh, 112 in, is it?
Rachel Bailey got 87
Right.
thumbs up,
Ooh,
which is one
bumped it
more
up
than
to
I have.
86. Says Flower Girl, Award 17.
Well, we've got 90 now. Oh, go on.
Oh, another 10, we get 100.
10 of you will be on 100. That'd be good.
Click that thumbs up button, it'd be great.
Wait, shall I do another find?
Right, let's do another find.
I'll do a bit of finds.
We've got to do another question then.
This is, I'll show you a couple of finds and then we'll do a question.
Right, okie dokie.
My wife kindly picked this up for me because she does know I like a bit of scrap, as do quite a number of people. But of course, this is hag scrap because this is scrap with a hole in. It's a polo scrap. In all honesty, a useful piece of metal. You can't go far wrong with a metal shim with a hole in it. That will come in handy. I'll need a washer. For instance, I sometimes use old Yale keys.
You do?
I do. We've got a set of shelves in our garage, which are those, I don't know if you've seen them, they're made up of metal angle iron that's got all slots and holes in, which are great. But when you start loading them up, they just think, what if they came forward? They'd probably kill Caroline on the way to the washing machine. So I got a couple of Yale keys and I just put a screw through the Yale key and then pinned it into the wall because it gives you that pressure pad to hold the angle line in place. So there we go.
Oh, it's only the best in our house.
Useful bit of scrap. Yeah. Somebody did say, Mr. Burleigh's in tonight, and somebody did say Tom would have a wonderful time down there in Lyme Regis. So he'd be going back with enough to fill his kiln and make himself something in his craft. But there we are, another bit of brass. This little brass
CM
image.
said 99 thumbs up. Now on my screen, he's saying 98 thumbs
They're
up.
having one extra in America.
Yes.
There we go. And there we are, another hag metal. Another piece of scrap hag with a hole in.
Laura, like you said, love it, hag scrap.
There we go. Can't beat it. If it's got a hole in, you'll always find a use for it. There's always a use for something with a hole. And here's a weird and wonderful bit of scrap. Not quite certain. I would say that is the end because it's finished off.
Do you think that's supposed to be a bike caliper?
And that is snapped. Yeah.
Brake caliper thing.
Could be, possibly. But there's no holes in this. This is not hag scrap. This is just scrap. But a very nice shape. Very nice shape. I get the feeling that is going to come in handy. You know, that looks like a head on a neck.
I think it looks like a branch to me.
Yeah, it does it. Yeah, put it that way, and there's the branch of a tree there, and you could hang something from there. Who knows what it may become at some future point. But here's the piece of scrap that's going to lead to our next question.
Ooh, exciting, exciting.
I am so impressed with this find that Caroline made. Isn't that a beaut?
I think it is snapped. I thought maybe it was a little dinky one, but I think it's snapped.
Yeah, it is snapped.
Oh, Northern Flicker said antler. Yes, it does look like an antler.
Oh, correct. Yes, definitely. But isn't that an absolute beaut? That is a beautiful piece. That is definitely going to end up as part of one of my structures. And
oh, I've got to interrupt you. Look at that. 100 thumbs up. Thank you, everyone. That's great. Thank you so much for all those thumbs up. That's great.
That's wonderful. There we go. That'll definitely end up. Because if we were at home, I could show you my shifting spanner. It's a lot bigger than that.
It is.
Because when I finished my apprenticeship, they weren't very bright really in the coal board. I turn up at 16 years of age out of school and I'm going to be an apprentice. So they give me a toolkit, which they say take home and keep it safe until you finish your apprenticeship. They wanted a 16-year-old to look after a full kit of tools for 4 years without using them. That's not going to happen. You're going to use them and you're going to lose them. So by the time I actually qualified, I didn't have hardly any tools left. So what did I do? I had an hammer and I had a chisel. And Caroline and I went to Bessemer Road Market and I bought a shifting spanner this long with a jaw that big, which of course you could reduce to 0 and you could open up to 2 inches. And it was Elephant brand made in China. Well, I took it to work. They were all laughing at me. They said, that thing won't last a fortnight. You need this make, that make, Draper, Brit tool, you know. They were no kidding. I have had a sledgehammer on the back of that, and if I showed it to you, you could see where it's been hammered flat on the top of the sledge. On one occasion, doing a job underground, we put a 12-foot pipe on it, and we had 4 men jumping on the pipe to try and make the boat undo, and I'm still using that spanner today, and that's...
Hurrah for Elephant brand.
What's that, 44 years?
Oh, that's scary.
No, 44 years, I'd been 16. So it's 40 years.
Still too long.
Yeah, because I qualified when we got married. So 40 years I've still got the spanner. So I'm a great believer in the shifting spanner, folks. It does the job. Right then, shall we have the question?
There we go.
A shifting spanner question. Ooh. In 1891, the inventor J.P. Johansen. I was thinking Johansen is probably like Johnson, isn't it? Sounds very much like Johnson. You know, it's there we go. That's beside the by. In 1891, the inventor J.P. Johansen took out a patent on a spanner with 2 movable jaws. 1 year later, he improved on his tools, and it became what today we call an adjustable spanner. I just want to know, what nationality was Mr. Johansen? Was he A, German, B, Swiss, or C, Swedish? Was he A, German, B, Swiss, or C, Swedish? Mr. Johansen. I think it's Johansen, it probably said, rather than Johansson.
Yeah, Johansen.
Johansen.
So I've got our first... Oh, it's jumped. There we are, there's our first answer.
Right here.
Okay, you've got that?
Hang on. What about...
Yep, that's
it.
it.
Is it?
Yep.
There we go, very good.
Here we go. Ooh, lots of answers coming in, lots of right answers too. But who is it with those right answers? Is it who you think? Are the ones who are usually right, or are they wrong?
Some of the usually right ones are wrong, and some of the usually right ones are right.
Yes.
Yes. And
you're going to put us out of our misery.
Let's just double check. 1, 2. Well, I just got to find a third.
Which means there's not a lot of them at the top. There's a little bit of a clue there.
Right, so we got that as the top one, haven't we?
My glasses again.
We agreed that was the top one.
Yes.
Okay, then,
all
folks.
3 are on there.
Yeah, I've managed to fit 3 onto one block. Lot of people seem to go with Swiss. Lots and lots of people gone there. Some gone with German, but a lot of people gone with Swiss, whereas actually they should have gone with Swedish. He was Swedish. Now, I think a lot of people as well think of, when it comes to...
Bye, Jan.
Hi, Jan. When it comes to intricate things and engineering and that, the Germans are into engineering in a big way. The Swiss are into their clocks and everything else. But this time, it was Swedish, Mr. Johansson was. Therefore, first correct answer, and in fairness, she took the trouble to type out the word Swedish and still got in first, and that is Carlin Scott. Then, after Carlin, we've got Christina again. Christina Matazaki.
Well done again.
And then we've got, I think it's a new face for tonight, Chris Miner.
Well done, Chris.
So we've got Carlin, Christina, and Chris.
Well done, you 3.
Well done.
Excellent work.
Yep. Swedish. That's what the gentleman was. And he made the he patented. Perhaps somebody else made one. But he patented what we recognise today as the standard adjustable spanner. Mr. Johansson, J.P. Johansson. There we go.
Right.
Right then.
So,
what should we do next? What are we going to do next?
I've got loads of... My big pile of finds is all sea glass.
We've got some colours at the front, and then it's mainly glass at the back.
Yeah, so I've got a few... What we found when we first went to Lyme Regis, and second, third time, there were just tons and tons of scrap metal. And there wasn't so much this time. 2 reasons, I think. One, there was an awful lot of seaweed that washed up on the beach. It's never usually there. So I think some things were actually under there, and also there are a lot more people going to Lyme Regis now and picking things up, and I think a lot of it is being taken home by mudlarkers and beachcombers. So there wasn't so much coloured glass this time. I've got a few there. We've got like a brown one and a blue one and a green one. But then I've got tons and I'm going to get really grubby now. But it's handfuls of this white sea glass and it's really well worn, I'll show you. Now river glass tends to be, it may be roughed up a little bit as it rolled along the bottom, but generally it's water has washed it, so it's much... It's not smoother, but there's just a rougher texture to this because it's been sanded by all the bits of sand in the water buffing up against it. And you get the odd bit, like this is definitely old. I'll show you that there. But it hasn't been in the water that long, that's just come out from a tip or a dump somewhere along the coast, so it hasn't had the amount of pounding that, say, something like that has had. But we've got a lovely pile of sea glass. And like very dirty hands. Right.
I just looking now, and somebody asked, why can't Flower Girl Ward 70? Why can't we have questions like, which wife got Shakespeare's second best bed? Simply because I couldn't tie that into our mudlarking on this occasion.
If we found a bed.
If we find a bed
we'll have that one.
We could go for that, couldn't we? We could go for that one. There we go. I've got a couple of bits of chunkier glass because the other thing you get down there is burnt glass. This has been through the fire of the tip, and you get molten glass that then gets rolled in the sea, and it comes out that sort of rock crystal effect, which is quite nice. Of course, you get bits that are very warm, but you can still see what they originally were, which is part of a base of a jar there, which has been worn down. And then there's another bit of a...
It's got a yellowy glass, that one as well.
It's a bit different. So you get variations. But I have to admit, all those who said, that really doesn't look like Australia. Well, we have to agree with you. It doesn't really look like Australia.
It's more like Australia than it is like South Africa.
Ah, yes, but somebody did point out, in all honesty, Phil, it looks more like the Isle of Wight. And I looked up the Isle of Wight, and by golly, it does look a lot more like the Isle of Wight. So there we are, folks. My geography is getting taught. I am learning that looks more like the Isle of Wight than it does Australia, because it looks nothing like Australia. But it looks rather like the Isle of Wight. Just needs a little bit more on there. And if that little bit hadn't broken off, it would look jolly well like the Isle of Wight. So there we go. We've sorted that out for you. Geography. Look, we're doing geography as well as history.
What Tom was saying... about what I was saying about Lyme Regis, it's probably partly because of your films there that so many mudlarkers are going. Find that a lot here in the places I film. As soon as you discover somewhere and it's great, and then as soon as you let that location out, then lots of people go. This is why if somebody gives us a location, sometimes we do it from a secret location, and it's because if somebody shared their location with us and said, please don't share it with anybody else, it's not fair for us to then flood it with mudlarkers. So that's why not a lot of mudlarkers, but a couple of mudlarking channels will say, I can't tell you where I am. It's because somebody else has told them where they are.
Yeah,
where to go.
It wouldn't be fair to pass on information we've been given without permission, really, because it's their hunting ground. We go there for once, and they're there regular, and so it can get complicated. Talk about scrap metal, though. This one I found while waiting for the ferry. There we are. That is the most rusty little bottle top I've ever come across. I picked it up just because of the amount of rust and texture on it. I thought that was nice.
I've noticed how much in focus I am and how not in focus the bottle top is.
It's not bad.
The thing is, the camera, this is a very wide table we're working on. It's not what we usually work on. It's probably twice the width, and so the camera's so far away.
And another bit of scrap.
Which I think looks like a witch with a hat on.
Yeah, or the Tin Man.
Tin Man, yeah.
Out of Dorothy. Yellow Brick Road. Follow the yellow brick road. I mustn't say that.
No, you mustn't sing that.
Well, it might be alright. It's old.
No, just in case.
It's really old.
Mustn't sing anything.
There we go. Shall we have another question?
Right, just a minute. Linda Hardy said, since I learned from you what a spanner is, maybe you could let viewers know that in the US we call a spanner an adjustable wrench.
Ah, yes. There we go. It's a wrench.
There we go. It's an adjustable wrench.
Right. Question time.
Question time. There.
Right, this is not related to a find. This is related to smuggling. Because, of course, we went through the smuggler's tunnel, as well as getting up at around about 4 in the morning. And our apologies to Margie. We scared the living daylights out of Margie.
Yeah.
Yes, Margie was thinking, I will now relax. I will have a little bit of a lie here. I'll put my headphones on the bed and I'll watch this nice, calm video with Caroline. And just as she was looking forward to a little drive with us, off went the alarm.
Yep.
And she said she found it funny after the event, nearly gave her a heart attack. So our apologies for that, Margie. But we did get up early. We went over, we saw the beach, we saw the sunrise, that was awesome. We larked in the dark, which was different. Then we went across on the ferry, which this little chap absolutely enjoyed.
Oh, yes.
He had a wonderful time. I'd like to say to those who were observant, they said, isn't Manky going the wrong way? We were all going the wrong way at one time, because problems occur sometimes when you're filming, and didn't they this time?
Sometimes.
We had 2 cards go down on us with catastrophic error and just would not tape, and said the only way to save it is format and this will lose all your content. So I had to take the cards out, didn't know what we had, we'd lost footage, so we actually went over and back, but we mixed the footage in because we had the on and off, but we had to mix the footage to make up for it. So Manky had a whale of a time anyway, but well done to those who spotted, aren't you going the wrong way?
Eagle-eyed viewers.
Oh, they don't
Can't
watch.
get much past you.
But then, of course, we ascended the hill and we went down to Ness Cove through that tunnel, which was quite an experience as you just descend down through the rock and come out into the bay. So I'm going to ask you now a question based on smuggling in the 18th century.
Ooh, bit of excitement.
That was the heyday of smuggling. In the 18th century, smugglers brought huge volumes of contraband to the southern counties of England. It was not unheard of for a smuggling trip to bring 1,500 cases of brandy in one lot. And smuggled gin was sometimes so plentiful in certain villages of Kent that they used it to clean their windows. So there we are. If you're wondering what that funny smell was down in Kent, it's people cleaning their windows with gin. But according to contemporary estimates, how much of the tea drunk in England in the 18th century was smuggled and had never paid duty? How much of the tea was smuggled? Was it A, 80% of the tea drunk in England, B, 60% of the tea drunk in England, or C, 40% of the tea drunk in England? How much of the tea being drunk do you think had been smuggled into the country? Do you think it was 80%, 60% or 40%?
Oh, hello, Shielty. Oh, the answers are coming in quick. Right, let's have a look. Can I see your piece of paper? Right. Okay, thank you. I'll go
That's a safe bet there from random, because we've got a hell of a lot.
Correct. You got the one there?
Yeah, if that's the highest.
Yep.
Yeah.
There we go. So I can go to the... Oh, wait a minute. Right, get down to the bottom. Right, I'm not sure. There's something going on about location, but somebody said Pasadena, California. Pasadena, oh, sounds so expensive. Exciting. I can't even talk properly. It's been a long day today. Right. Adam said, I haven't seen Penny Howard in a while. Is she okay? No, I haven't heard anything, Adam. So hopefully everything's okay. She's just a bit busy. Right. So are you ready?
I believe we're ready with the answer.
All right. Okay then. Off you go.
Right. And can I just say that
No.
The first 3 answers were quick but incorrect. Then we got a correct answer. Then we got a witty answer. And then we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 correct answers in a row. And then a series of incorrect answers. So there was a brainwave that just flashed around the world for a split second. And 5 people in a row got the correct answer. But of course you can't all have a podium. And just to say to random RJ Awesome, if instead of saying a hell of a lot. You left off the last bit and just said A. You'd have been on the second podium because Dan Fetters is top of the tree with A.
Well done, Dan.
Then comes in Random's witty reply, which we enjoyed. As they would say on Just a Minute, we'll give you a bonus point because we enjoyed it. And then we've got the 5. So I'm going to name all 5, but first the 2 that are on a podium. So Dan, you're on the top. Jenny Thomas, you come on to the second platform. And then Lynn Bean is back on with us again, taking the 3rd and the bronze position. But in fairness, directly behind them, Chris Minor, you got A. Ed Creative, you got A. Danny M, you got A. And it was so tight together there. There was 3 of them directly behind, so that's excellent. And loads of answers, lots of different answers. But yeah, 80%. Out of all the tea being drunk in England at that point in the 18th century, only 1/5 of it had paid tax. The rest had come in smuggled onto the south coast. And that gives you an indication of just how big it, because initially it was sort of, you know, a local pub bringing in the sort of bit like the sort of day trippers we have today, you know, bring over a little bit extra for the friends. And no, this was massive. This was massive and effective. So effective, the government found it.
Oh, Jeff. Hello, Jeff. Oh, thank you. £10 super chat. Just woke up, still retired. We'll catch up tomorrow. There may be something for Caroline arriving via Amazon. Ooh, I hope you got the blue paint off, Caroline. I'm okay at the moment. Thank you. Jeff. Jeff. Have a lovely thank you. It's lovely to hear from you.
Yes. While you're awake, could you do us a favour? Could you drop us an email on mudlarking@aol.com? It's something I wanted to just have a chat with you about. So if you could,
there's no way of knowing what your address is or anything.
No, we don't want to contact you. We can't contact you. But if you could, if you're happy to, Jeff, send us an email on mudlarking@aol.com. It's something I want to have a chat with you about. That'd be great. But thank you ever so much.
Thank you, Jeff. That's really kind of you.
Thank you for the gift for Caroline.
Yes, thank you. We're excited now.
Thank you for your generous gift as well to us both. That's excellent.
Yes, well, thank you. Thank you for my present. I don't know what it is. I'm so excited.
That's brilliant. And of course, for those who are aware, Jeff hasn't been very well. He's had treatment for a major situation and then developed COVID in the middle of his treatment.
Yeah, so you've done a rough run, haven't you, Jeff?
So all I can say is if you're going to go through chemo and get COVID and come out the other end, then you're meant to still be with us. And we wish you all the best again this week, Jeff. Yes. And it's lovely you've woke up in time to be with us on the
glad
lunch
you got to join us. It's lovely.
Best wishes, mate. You're in our thoughts and prayers. You really are. There we go. Right, Dale, then, what else have we got?
Well, it's 2 minutes past 10, so if we've got another question, we better go for it.
Do you think so? Go on then, folks. We're going to wind up now. It's gone 10 o'clock, and we better shut down then because Max will be hearing us.
So,
question time.
Right, just a second. Let's find my question time.
Okie doke. The ferry crossing that you saw us on, not the ferry, please, not the ferry. They've only that actual ferry. The one was from the 1950s, the other was from the 1970s, and I'm not sure which one we were on. But the actual ferry crossing has been running definitely since 1296. There's a record of that ferry running in 1296.
A decade or two.
It's believed to have been running for longer than that, but they got documented proof that that ferry was running in 1296. But my question is much more modern to that. How much did it cost for Caroline and I, for our both fares, to go one way on the ferry? What's the combined cost of Caroline and I going one way on that ferry? Was it A, £3.20, B, £4.80, or C, £6.60? Just the one way, because you could only buy singles. We had to buy singles out, singles back. But both of our singles, both of our single fares combined, do you think it was A, £3.20, B, £4.80, or C, £6.60?
So I can find the right answer. Oh, there's lots of... Here we go. Okay. Is that right? Yep. So that's there. And there, you got that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
There we go. Lots of answers coming in. Wow, there are a lot of answers. 3 doubloons.
I was going to say, that'd be costly, wouldn't it?
It would. Hey, Lexi, I wouldn't mind somebody giving me 3 doubloons to cross the water. I'd be happy with one. One day I'm going to find a gold doubloon. You can buy pretending gold doubloons on eBay. I had a look. But it's not the same, is it? I'd much rather find it myself, even if it was a pretending one.
1 packet of smuggled tea. Did Manky get in free with the child admission? No, actually he worked his passage for this. Yes, he was working his passage. He was captain for a trip.
He was, yes, working hard.
So, yes, he
Organising
was.
everybody.
He was.
Shouting ahoy there.
Aye, land a ho. Look out for that boat. Too late, you've hit it.
That sort of thing.
Yes, he was a busy boy.
Yeah, making everybody swab the decks.
Aye, he worked his passage.
It was only a 10-minute crossing, and we were all swabbing decks and climbing up.
It was lovely though.
It was very nice.
Lovely. It was and they just drove the thing straight onto the beach. That's how it's designed. Just drive up on the beach. There's no pier or anything.
No.
They just hit the beach, jump on, pay the man, and off you go.
Lexi said 10 chickens.
How much did we pay the man? That's the question. Isn't it?
Mind you, that meant he would have to take the 10 chickens across with us. Oh, that would have been a very smelly crossing, wouldn't it? Not I'm saying chicken smell, but they tend to do things that smell.
Right then, I'm just checking now because there's a gap between the first two.
Right.
And 2, and then trying to go down to see, get this right. Right. I think I've got it. I think I've got it. I think I have. Right there. A variety of answers and considerably wrong. It's not as expensive as most people thought.
It was only a short crossing though. It
is a short crossing.
Very long, but it wasn't.
And it's a clever crossing because you see, you can walk. We did it one day and it takes about 45 minutes.
It's not a bad walk.
And it's a pleasant walk.
There's a bridge further up.
It's a bridge and it's a good way up the estuary. So you can walk up the road, across the bridge and come around. So there's an alternative. But if you don't make it too expensive, why would you take the alternative? You think, oh, well, it's not bad. So they have cunningly kept it at a reasonable price. I think it's 80p for children and £1.60 for adults. So our combined pair was £3.20. So we actually went there and back for £6.40, which is less than the top answer, which some people thought we may have paid. So the correct answer goes to, and we've seen this name before tonight a couple of times, our friend from Yorkshire, Lynn Bean.
Well done, Lynn.
There we go. Lynn has got A. Then followed by Lynette. Lynette
well
Evans.
done, Lynette.
And there's just a whisker between them because they were next door to each other. Then I had to track down a little to find Charlotte S.
Well done, Charlotte.
I believe, yeah, Charlotte S. So there we go. It's Lynn, Lynette and Charlotte. You were spot on. You knew we'd be too tight. We'd have swum before we'd have paid any more than £3.20 to cross that water. It was
not big spenders at all. Terrible.
There we go. So if you're ever down that part of the world, it's well worth the crossing.
Definitely.
It's well worth the walk to go down onto Ness Bay. And if you find nothing there, I couldn't emphasise this more on that show. If you found nothing there, being there
Oh, it was lovely.
was wonderful.
And the experience of going through the tunnel to get there, it was quite exciting.
And I am responsible for our early morning start. I had that mad idea, didn't I, love?
You did?
I said, we're on our holiday, it's our 40th, we're staying here, we're having a rest, but let's have one mad day of filming and let's get it done early.
Oh, we did have a mad day of filming.
Because the tide times mean we either go late in the afternoon or we go early. So we went early and I'm so glad we did because I'm so pleased we were able to share that sunrise as well as the cove and everything else. And it's been great to share tonight with you. 110 thumbs up.
Oh,
Who
thank you,
cares
everyone. That's
about
great.
the 2 thumbs down? They don't matter. 124 still with us. Thank you for being with us. Thank you everyone who's commented. Thank you for all of the comments on the video as well. Thank you for your support. It's been fantastic. Don't forget, if you want to check with us over anything specific that is not covered in the chat, always feel free, drop an email. We're on mudlarking@aol.com.
Well done, you remembered it.
I did.
It's impressive sometimes.
We'd better say goodbye.
Yes, so thank you all for joining us. It's been great fun. I really enjoyed the chat. And we see you all next time. But until then, don't forget, have fun.
Bye.
Bye.